Another beautiful Sunday evening. Welcome to Dateline on OSBC TV. On the show tonight, the activities of Governor Adeleke in the just concluded week will be reviewed. I am Babatunde Fanowokbo. First, the hard news segment. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has ordered that the 4-year tenure enjoyed by executive be extended to the offices of all local government chairmen across the country. This is contained in the certified true copy of a judgment delivered by Justice Muhammad Garba and 6 others. Justice Garba said that some states have, by their various illegal actions, starved the local government councils in their state to the extent that most of them cannot exercise their constitutional powers or perform their statutory functions. The justice described the situation of the local government in the country as one tier of government inhumanity to another tier of government. According to him, the local authorities' political and financial independence is daily guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. He added that if the tenure of a local government council is truncated as it is the norm now, it is an illegal termination of the electorate mandate, and it is not to be encouraged but roundly condemned. Meanwhile, Osun State Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Honorable Sunday BC, has called on aggrieved members of the party to bring their complaints on the local government primary election process for resolutions. Honorable BC made the call while responding to reports from some local governments over the primary process, as he assured them that all genuine complaints will be looked into. The party chief said those with questions to put their complaints in writing and submit to the state leadership, urging them to cultivate the habit of exploring internal mechanisms for the ventilation of their grievances. The 1 million man march planned by leaders of the End Bad Governance protest has flopped across the country due to low turnout. Protesters shunned their usual meeting point, which had been occupied by security agents. Organizers of the protest have said the march would signal the end of the 10-day protest against economic hardship. In preparation for the march, security agencies deployed operatives into cities as roadblocks were mounted. Reports say the security situation was the same yesterday as the police mounted barricades on all roads leading to Eagle Square, the venue where the protesters intended to converge for the protest. One of the supporters of the protest, Gogo Wellington, said he did not show up due to fear of violence, hoping that the government will be up and doing and immediately address the problems. The dust raised by the report that some protesters in the northern parts of Nigeria raised the Russian flag during the recently held hunger protest in Nigeria has not abated. In his reactions, a former commissioner for finance in Osun State, Elder Moses Adetoye, said the offense is treason and punishable under the law. He maintained that though people have the right to protest against the undesirable government policies, the protest should, however, be peaceful.
The reduction in the import duty on food items as announced by the federal government, can be taken as a temporary measure, but what we need is a sustainable measure, a long-lasting solution. As it is, the reduction in the duty might not necessarily substantially affect.
It was a moment of
The reduction in the import duty
Sorry for that mix-up. Senator Ureti Kingibe, representing the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has urged the federal government to address the demands and concerns raised by Nigerians during the recent End Bad Governance protest. According to reports, Kingibe called for meaningful engagement between the federal government and representatives of the protesters, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders to address the issues. Senator Kingibe expressed her anger over the excessive force used by security agencies against peaceful demonstrators, while sending her heartfelt condolences to those who have lost their loved ones during the demonstrations. She noted that it is imperative that the federal government adopt a more empathetic and dialogue-oriented approach to sensitive matters. She further assured the residents of the Federal Capital Territory to remain a steadfast advocate for their needs and concerns in the Senate. The Senate has denied fixing its own salaries, contrary to recent media reports. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo had recently accused federal lawmakers of acting unconstitutionally by deciding their own emolument at the country's expense. In a statement by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Adeyemi Adaramodu, neither the Senate nor the National Assembly fixes their salaries, stressing that any suggestion contrary is uncharitable and satanic. Adaramodu said the Nigerian Senate is terrified by the tackling story of determining its own salaries and receiving a special fiscal package from the presidency. He stated that the Senate only receives the salary allocated constitutionally by the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Allocation Commission, challenging anyone who is privileged either in qualified or absolute position to bring forth any contrary fact. He described the 10th Senate as a responsible and responsive chamber, hence will not do anything that can harm the economy and growth of Nigeria. As the federal government gets set to implement the removal of import duties on food and other edibles to tackle the food crisis in the country. An analyst, Mr. Amzat Sholanke, has advised the federal government to go beyond removal of import duties and find a permanent solution to the issue. Mr. Amzat said that government must, as a matter of urgency, tackle insecurity that is keeping the farmers away from the farms.
The reduction in the import duty on food items as announced by the federal government can be taken as a temporary measure, but what we need is a sustainable measure, a long-lasting solution. As it is, the reduction in the duty might not necessarily substantially affect the prices of this commodity, because some of the major factors militating to the increase in prices is the cost of importation itself. The government is not going to go and pay for the freight. The government is not going to go and source dollar at a cheaper rate for that merchant who is importing, these goods. And then, of course, transportation of the commodity from the port to the warehouse and then finally to the production arena where the items may be needed. So, as raw material. So it's just going to be, scratching the surface. It's not going to be something substantial. It might actually be negligible or even unnoticeable. So what I think is necessary is to start a lasting solution to the challenges of food supply in Nigeria, particularly the insecurity that is chasing the farmers away from farming. The lands are there, the farmers are alive, but majority of them have fled from their farms. And what to naturally bring down, you see, it's simple dynamics. If I begin to plant maize now, even if my maize is not out, the prices of maize can start coming down, because people would know that if they store, the price will crash because there might be a glut from my production, and they'll be anxious to dispose their produce, and that will increase the supply chain to the market.
The National Youth Service Corps has denied a social media report that Corps members' bank accounts are being upgraded to accommodate the 70,000 naira new national minimum wage. A statement by the NYSC Director of Information and Public Relations, Mr. Eddie Megwa, stated that the report is misleading and absolutely false. Mr. Megwa added that no directive has been given by the relevant authority for it to start the payment of 70,000 naira minimum wage to Corps members or to upgrade their account. The NYSC therefore advised Corps members to desist from allowing mischief makers who are set to mislead Nigerians to continue to play on their intelligence. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has called for caution as the Dangote refinery and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission exchange words over the supply of crude to the refinery. Atiku, in a post on his X handle, said the nurturing and development of the 650,000 capacity refinery should be a primary focus. The politician maintained that the fundamental principle applied equally to investments, whether they were local or international in nature. The Dangote Group had earlier accused the NUPRC of failing to effectively enforce the domestic crude supply obligations, saying it is yet to get enough crude locally. Former member of the House of Representatives for Brass, Nimbe Federal Constituency of Bayelsa State, Israel Sonny Goli, has said with the introduction of Youth Internship Scheme and other initiatives by the Niger Delta Development Commission, the people of the region are now feeling the impact of the interventionist agency. Sonny Golu was reacting to the call by Chief Michael Johnny on President Bola Tinubu not to renew the tenure of the managing director of NDDC, Samuel Obuko. Johnny had cited malfeasance, maladministration, and politicization of the commission under the current leadership of the interventionist agency as reasons for his call. Weighing in on the development, the former member in the 9th National Assembly in a statement said there was a consensus opinion in the region that Obuku is the best thing to have happened to the NDDC since its inception. Sonny Goli described the NDDC under Obuku as intentional in facilitating the rapid and sustainable development of the Niger Delta region and has shown unwavering commitment in this regard. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged President Bola Tinubu to investigate the $1.5 billion World Bank loan obtained by the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The group also urged President Tinubu to probe the alleged mismanagement of the Chinese loans of $3.121 billion obtained by the federal government. Serap asked the President to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, and appropriate anti-corruption agencies to promptly and thoroughly investigate how the loan was spent, thereby reducing poverty and social protection across the state. Serap noted that individuals or agencies suspected of corruption and mismanagement should be prosecuted as appropriate if there is sufficient admissible evidence, and any proceeds of corruption should be fully recovered. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu is expected to grace the 60th anniversary of Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria and Made in African Defense Industries Conference this Wednesday. In a statement signed by the Director, Information and Public Relations, Henshaw Ogubike, announced that the President will attend the event as the special guest of honor and will also deliver an address. Ogubike said the DICON's 60th anniversary celebration with the theme Future Frontiers in Africa's Defense Technology would showcase the company's achievement and innovations and strengthen relationships among stakeholders. The entire ancient town of Erimo in Oriada local government was agog as prominent personalities across the globe gathered to celebrate the 10th coronation anniversary of Oba Dr. Michael Odunayo Ajayi Arowo Tawaya I, the Elerimo of Erimo Kingdom. The coronation celebration was marked as the wife of Osun State Governor Ngozi Adeleke was conferred with a chieftaincy title in recognition of her lofty contributions and selfless service to the development of Erimo Kingdom. Ifeoluwa Jolayemi covers the event for OSBC News.
It was a moment of a buzz in Erimo Ijesha, Oriade local government, Osun State, as dignitaries, well-wishers and subjects gathered to pay tribute to their beloved king. Notably, individuals with physical limitations showed remarkable determination to attend, so as to be part of this historic occasion. The event was a two-in-one celebration marking the 10th coronation anniversary of the Elerimo of Erimo, Obad Michael Odunayo Ajayi Arowo Tawaya II, and the conferment of Erelu Asoludero to Her Excellency, the wife of the Osun State Governor Ngozi Abeni Adeleke. The Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi Ojaja II, decorated the wife of the Osun State Governor as the new Erelu Asoludero of Erimo Kingdom on behalf of Elerimo. Speaking at the occasion, the JAMB Registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, delivered a lecture on the topic Monarchical Contributions to Educational Growth in Nigeria, highlighting how several monarchs have made significant impacts on education beyond their ancestral roles. Professor Oloyede specifically commended the Elerimo of Erimo Ijesha for his remarkable contributions to the educational sector.
You know that KBS multitasker.
In his remarks, Oba Dr. Michael Odunayo Ajayi emphasized that he is on the throne to make a purposeful impact as history records his actions and inactions. Elerimo noted that in the last 10 years of his reign, his kingdom has recorded remarkable successes in all strata of human endeavor. The event featured cultural displays, traditional dramas and musical interludes. Adding to the excitement of the coronation ceremony, a renowned musician, King Sunny Ade, wowed the crowd with a high-energy performance. It was indeed a momentous occasion, one that will be etched in the annals of history. Ifeoluwa Jolayemi reporting for OSBC News.
Well, welcome to our sports segment. Against all expectations, Nigeria's 19th appearance at the Olympic Games ended in a fiasco, failing to win a medal at Paris 2024, which runs off today after 16 days of intense jostle for medals. Abdurrahman Adebayo has the details of this and others from the sports scene.
Silver and bronze at the last edition in Tokyo. Everyone expected Team Nigeria to aim higher, but they fell short on all fronts despite the massive 9 billion fund from the federal government being the total budget the National Olympic Committee submitted to the presidency for approval. The country featured 88 athletes in 12 sports and came up empty-handed, making it a chastening Olympics for Nigerian sport, the country's worst outing at the Olympics since London 2012, as notable medal prospects Tobi Amusan, Blessing Oburudu, Favour Ofili Esebome and Quadri Arune fell short in their respective events. Only the Tigers gave Nigerians something to cheer as Rena Wakama team braved the odds to reach the quarterfinal of the women's basketball tournament, becoming the first African team to reach that stage of Olympics basketball. Meanwhile, it has been all gloom in Team Nigerian camp, with athletics and officials wearing long faces and the Minister of Sport Development, John Eno, foaming over the fiasco, threatening to rid the various sport federations of officials bereft of requisite ideas for excellence. In another development, the Nigeria Rugby League has announced the appointment of Bolu Fagborun as the head coach for the women's national team ahead of the World Cup qualifiers against Kenya. Fagborun, known for his extensive experience and success, previously led the national men's team to victory in the MEA Championship 2024 in Ghana. His leadership is expected to drive the women's team to similar success as they aim for a spot in the World Cup. The qualifiers against Kenya offer a crucial opportunity for the women's team to shine on the international stage. If they secure victory under Bolu's guidance, the team will advance to the World Series next year. Meanwhile, a former assistant coach of the Nigerian national football team, Sylvanus Okpala, has voiced his opinion on the current state of Nigerian football and the recent controversies surrounding the team. Okpala, in an interview, emphasized the need for homegrown solution to the country's football challenges. He also stated that there is still a chance for the nation to qualify for the 2026 World Cup, emphasizing the importance of the Super Eagles securing qualification. Addressing the earlier controversy involving Victor Osimhen and the ex-national team coach, Okpala criticized both parties for their handling of the situation. Okpala, who won the AFCON title in 1980 as a player and as an assistant coach in 2013, emphasized that coaches should not publicly criticize their players. This is coming after former coach Finidi George was quoted to have said he can't beg Osimhen to play for the national team after the player withdrew from their last two 2026 World Cup qualifiers due to injury in June. Abdurrahman Adiba reporting for OSBC News.
And coming from the foreign scene, the Minister of Justice of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Constant Mutamba, has announced the release of nearly 527 prisoners from the central prison of Makala in Kinshasa. Hadiza Bala has the details of this and others from the foreign scene.
During this event, the minister also delivered 2,000 mattresses to the inmates out of a total of 7,000 ordered, aiming to improve their detention conditions. Constant Mutamba stated that a state governed by the rule of law means that everyone must be subject to the law, noting that the government will continue with the release of some prisoners who have been unjustly detained. Mutamba reminded the public that he had promised to improve the detention conditions of prisoners in line with instructions from the head of state. He added that the prison's health center is undergoing rehabilitation and several pavilions are also being renovated. It will be recalled that last month, the Congo's government has stated that at least 7,000 inmates were to be granted conditional release from the Makala Central Prison in a bid to ease overcrowding at the facility. Meanwhile, at least 12 people have died after a landslide at a massive rubbish dump in the Uganda capital, Kampala. According to reports, a huge hill formed by the buildup of rubbish collapsed, burying houses on the edge of the site where residents were asleep. Rescuers are continuing to dig through the waste in the hope of finding more survivors after the landslide, which followed weeks of torrential rainfall. The 36-acre Kitizi landfill is the only one serving the whole of Kampala, a city home to an estimated 4 million people. Kampala Mayor Arias Lukwago said it is a disaster that is bound to happen. The city authorities have reportedly been trying to find a new site for many years. Kampala police spokesman Patrick Onyango told newsmen that 4 more bodies had been retrieved while 14 people had been rescued. In another development, the UK government says visa applications have dropped from 141,000 to 91,000, about 35.46% since changes to the immigration policy came into effect. The government recently introduced new rules to reduce immigration from a record 1.22 million. The changes, which came into effect in January 2024, banned international students from bringing dependents except those on postgraduate research courses or government-funded scholarships. According to statistics by the Home Office, study visa applications between January to July 2024 reduced by 16% compared with January to July 2023. Similarly, there were 13,100 applications from dependents of students between January and July 2024, about 81% fewer than January to July 2023. The country also recorded an 80% fall in the number of applications for health and care workers visas within this period. The move was part of the government's broader effort to curb immigration, which reached a record high of 1.22 million last year. Hadiza Bala, OSBC News.
Go on a short break. Dateline continues shortly. Governor Ademola Adeleke in the just concluded week assured organizers of the End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest in Osun State that all their demands and agitations will be forwarded to the federal government for immediate actions. Details of these and other activities of Mr. Governor are presented in the special package.
Democratic Party (PDP) primaries ahead of the Osun State local government elections bid for February next year. Osun State Governor Senator Adeleke, alongside his deputy Prince Kola Adewusi, received leaders of the party, including the state party chairman, Honorable Sunday Bisi, and other executives and members of the party at the Osun State Government House. In his remarks, Governor Adeleke said the stakeholders meeting comes at a pivotal time for Osun State political landscape, appealing to the party leaders and members for unity, highlighting the necessity of a cohesive approach as the party prepares for significant local government elections, which he said will set the stage for the 2026 governorship race in Osun State. The governor, who announced that his government has reached an agreement with the End Bad Government protesters in the state, said the protest has been suspended by the organizers. He added that his administration will continue to prioritize the welfare of all in the state. Governor Adeleke further stressed the importance of party discipline and loyalty to leadership decisions, seeking to strengthen the party's internal structure and enhance its chances of electoral success. The governor, who reeled out the numerous achievements of his administration, including financial support for students, cooperative bodies, and infrastructure projects, among others, aimed to inspire confidence among party members and the general public.
So, announce take off from Imole Court. New teacher, we should be announced. Abide by decisions of the party leadership. That is the way to strengthen the party and enhance our chances to make election. I commend the party leadership at all levels. I thank you for running the party well. Please let's give them a big round.
Speaking shortly after the meeting with members of the pen profession, the chairman of the Osun People's Democratic Party (PDP), Honorable Sunday Bisi, assured party members of the conduct of free and fair local government primaries, saying all aspirants will be given a level playing field. The party chairman further called on the members of the party to participate in the upcoming primaries in the spirit of sportsmanship, while calling for unity and peace among them.
Debunk the insinuations being peddled by some people that the party or the government is trying to impose candidates on the local governments. We are not doing that. That's why we have, emphasized here. Politics is local. Everybody is free to go to his local government and just make the arrangement and let the chairman, the councillorship candidate emerge. That's what we have done. Some people were alluding to the fact that the Adeleke dynasty, the Yelu and some others are imposing candidates. That is not true.
They are protesters seeking an end to bad governance in Nigeria. They stormed the Osun State Government Secretariat, chanting solidarity songs. Governor Ademola Adeleke identified with them and as such addressed them. Speaking through his deputy, Prince Kola Adewusi, Governor Ademola Adeleke felt their pains and assured them that his administration will not do anything against the wish of an average Osun resident. Governor Adeleke explained that his administration has been paying the half salaries of workers owed by previous administration. Besides, the registration of the pensioners and the vulnerables into the Osun Health Insurance Scheme, where they will get the best of health care services free of charge. The governor noted that his administration pays premium on massive food production as a panacea to hunger. Hence, it has procured hundreds of tractors to facilitate mechanized farming. On the issue of federal government palliative, the governor assured that as soon as the federal government orders its distribution, the state government will waste no time henceforth. Governor Adeleke, who appreciates the peaceful nature of the protest in the state, pleaded to the protesters to sustain the peace throughout the period of their agitations.
The request submitted to the government, I can assure you all that the governor will write an accompanying letter to be presented at the next meeting, that these are the requests of the youth in Osun State, and this will be presented to the federal government. And I told you, in terms of your demand from Osun State government, every request that you listed is being taken care of. Say, for example, in terms of agricultural development, Osun State government has actually purchase some tractors now for the use for agriculture. All I would suggest to you, please, get the government some delegation from you in terms of committee to advise the government on the way you want this tractor to be distributed and to be implemented. On the issue of bursary, I can assure you, as I speak now, all Osun State indigene, irrespective of political affiliation, in law school, they are benefited from the bursary issue that you have raised.
Comrade Ajala Adetunji is the coordinator of the protesters in Osun State. While speaking, berated the spate of hunger, high school fees, and the sudden removal of fuel subsidy, which paralyzed the nation's economy. He called on the federal government to stop the distribution of palliatives to states, but address the issues of unemployment, high cost of living, hunger, hike in electricity tariff, and petroleum product without further delay.
We have achieved seeing the governor through his representative, the deputy governor and the SST. But however, we hope that we will go back home to meet our leaders and whatever things we agreed by this evening, we will let the general public be aware of it.
For OSBC News, this is Saeed Adeboje reporting.
That report, we have come to the end of Dateline on OSBC TV. We thank you for watching. It was produced by Abdul Jalil Adebisi, Adiza Bala, and Abdurrahman Adebayo have been part of the production. Good night.